Hi guys. Okay, welcome to my channel. Okay, it's Saturday night. And I was like, you know what? It's been a long week. I want to play a game. And I was like, what kind of game can we play? What can we do that would be super fun? And I've done a lot of Q&As on this channel, but I have not done any contests. And I have to be honest, a lot of the Q&As, I get the same questions over and over and over again. So I was thinking, what would be a way to motivate you guys to think outside of the box, to answer something, to ask me a question you might not ask otherwise, or that might be, you know, everyone will be like, damn, I can't believe you asked that. Now, I can't promise I'll see every question, but what we're going to do here tonight is you can ask me a question. If the chat, I've put the chat on slow-mo. If you are, because I don't know how many people are going to be here, and I only have one moderator right now. Oh, Jesse's here. Okay, I'll turn slow-mo off. Okay. I'll turn off slow-mo. I didn't see Jesse. Jesse, thank you for being here. Okay. So what we're going to do is you can ask me questions. If the chat starts moving fast, you have options for setting super chats. You don't have to use super chats. Those will be the best way. If there's a specific thing that you want me to make sure to answer, I will definitely answer super chats. Otherwise, I'll be picking out questions as I see them in the live chat. And we're going to do a contest. So we are going to keep track of the best questions. And then at the end, what we're going to do is I'm going to pick between 3 of the questions, and then we're going to have some prizes. And the top question gets $100 cash. And we'll do either Venmo or PayPal, depending on what service you have for money. And then we'll do a couple Amazon gift cards for the runners-up, okay? So this is going to be fun, and I want you to get creative here, okay? All right, so let's see. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? I have no idea, Audrey. What do you believe is your greatest accomplishment and your biggest regret? Greatest accomplishment would be, oh my gosh, I don't know. Delivering my son, having a child, becoming a mom. My biggest regret would be not going to graduate school and not going and doing graduate school. I should have done graduate school. Like, I was going to do graduate school and I just never did, and I've always regretted that. I wish I could have still done that. Okay. Will you do another live with Amy King? Yes. What do you think of Brit Glow? I don't know who she is, and I don't have much to say, so I can't say a whole lot. What is the best creator you wish you could speak to? Who is the best creator, or who is a creator that I wish I could speak to? You know, this is weird, but I would, well, no, let me see. You know, I don't know. There's so many creators. Maybe, oh my gosh, I don't know. Dr. Todd Grande. I want to speak to Dr. Grande. Can you guys hook me up and let me talk to Dr. Grande? I love his channel. If you could change anything in your life so far, what would it be? I would try not to take everything so seriously sometimes. Do you get any feedback from people who you dish about? Sometimes. Some of the people that I have made videos on will sometimes send me messages. They'll do clarifications. Sometimes I'll hear through the grapevine. Sometimes their family members will reach out to me. But for the most part, like, if I reach out to them, sometimes they don't respond. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they talk about me on their podcasts and then say I have bad hair, Mr. Chrisley. Okay. What is the funniest thing that happened while filming? Oh, I don't have a lot of bloopers, you guys, because I'm always doing this. So probably not a lot. What's one thing you could change about your career on YouTube? I would react less to negative comments and I would focus more on the positive people on my channel. That's a tough one, and I would always, 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 always try to do better with that. What do you think will happen with the gardeners in the future? I'm not sure. I always feel like with Tyson Gardner, he could, he's not going to get better. So, ooh, I have some tea for you. So somebody actually reached out to me from Tyson's life, and they've known him, they said, since they've been 12 years old. And they said Tyson has always been like this, even since he was 12. He has always gone from girl to girl to girl to girl to girl. She said that they were friends. They go to the same church. He is a total cad. She doesn't know if Ashley knows about this, and if she does, she doesn't care. And he's just like a total womanizer. That's what they said. If you had to choose between having an elephant trunk or a nose or a giraffe's neck for the rest of your life, which would you choose and why? Okay, first off, I would love to have an elephant trunk because spraying people with water would literally be amazing, right? Could you imagine just like being able to like go up to somebody and be like, and just spraying them with water? That's the one thing about elephants that I think are amazing. They can literally pick up water with their snout and then they can spray everything. I think that would be better than having a long giraffe neck. I feel like that would make me fall over. Okay, that was an awesome question. We need to remember that one. Okay, which story have you covered that was made the biggest impact on your life? Probably the stuff that I did a long time ago when I talked about vaccines. That was probably the most impactful because we were able to share our life story and our journey with our son. So that would be that. You talked about YouTubers who are gone. Now, is Sanders gone? Katie Lindstrom, this is a good question. I was actually thinking about this the other day. Where is Sanders Kennedy? Like, what happened to him? He just literally disappeared. Like, that scandal happened and he deactivated his Twitter and he deleted all of his videos of Shane. Obviously, must have been some sort of legal threat, but it is odd to me that he just like dipped. Like, he pieced out. Like, I thought this was his job. It's just, that was a bizarre response to me for sure. But, everyone makes mistakes, and I hope he can come back and somehow. Okay, what's my favorite ramen noodle flavor? Chicken noodle. Is that a flavor? What is one of your passions outside of YouTube behind the scenes? I love to organize. Is that a passion? I absolutely love to organize. I could organize every part of my house, and if organization was a passion, I would be passionate about organizing. Is bunk bed Jed's twin bed twin bed Jed now? I think so, yes. Do I drink coffee, says Nikki? I do drink coffee. Who is my hero? My son. Best feedback you've ever received which changed your perspective. To remember that every single person that I talk about and cover is a human and that they might actually see and read or watch what I do, and so to be mindful of how I speak about them. How difficult is it? Oops. Well, this is moving really fast. What's your biggest fear in life? That I won't ever be able to do the splits. I'm not even kidding. What's your dream travel destination on your bucket list? I want to go to Thailand. Okay. Would you ever do another live with Amy? I just answered this question. Rewind for a few seconds. Can you choose to do my house to organize? Sure. Fun. Sounds like a blast. If there was one person you could pick to help, who would it be? Well, first off, I would need to know pick to help what and for where. Who is a better metal band? Masters, Hammer, or Hammers of Misfortune? Canis Dearest. Jean wants to know if I will adopt her. Yes, I will adopt you, Jean, but you have to make sure that you bring me chocolate chip cookies because that's my favorite. Which one of your dogs would you most want to switch the day with and why? I would want to switch the days with Sweetie because Sweetie is bonkers. Sweetie can jump the fence. Sweetie is literally she's fierce, you guys. Sweetie can do everything. Okay. What is your favorite show to binge watch besides Gilmore Girls? Parks and Recreation, 100%. How did I meet my husband? Online. What is the biggest tea that you had to keep a secret? It's in my mouth still, so I can't tell you. Is your husband camera shy? No, it's just not really his channel. But he's reopening his Etsy shop, you guys. And so if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, he'll be selling some cool stuff soon. Would I ever adopt a child so my son could have a Playmate? No. What breed of dog would you be and why? I feel like I would be a German Shepherd because I'm very loyal. I'm also very high energy, and German Shepherds can like solve crimes. And if I was on the Paw Patrol, I would be Chase because Chase is on the case. Would you rather be locked in a library or in an amusement park? I would 100% rather be locked in a library. I would love to just be alone in a library with a bunch of books. That would be amazing. When is the time that you screwed everything up, but no one ever found out it was you? When is one time that you screwed everything up, but nobody ever found out it was you? I don't really know. I don't know. What's my favorite character? Who's my favorite character on Gilmore Girls? Suki is probably my favorite. Then after that would be Rory. And I am all Team Logan 100% of the time. If you had a chance to meet Jim, Bob, and Michelle in person, could you be honest with them? Well, why would I be honest? I'm not the one that has problems with honesty. Could Jim, Bob, and Michelle be honest with me? Would I ever interview David and Janelle Easton? Well, I've already talked to Janelle and I've asked her questions, but no, I would not. Where do you see this channel in 5 years? Oh, I don't know. I hope I'm still around. If you could give advice to a YouTuber, who would you pick and what would you say? Okay, so if I could give advice to a YouTuber, I would just say, who would I pick? I would pick, oh my gosh. You know who I'd pick today? I would pick Def Noodles because he's been getting dragged a lot. And I would just say to Def, like, dude, you don't need to explain yourself anymore. Like, everyone knows you're cool. Like, don't feed the trolls. Like, feeding the trolls is silly. And you don't need to justify what you're doing because everyone loves you. If you were forced to trade places with one of the sister wives, which world would you take over? Okay, you guys, I seriously have dreams that I'm a fifth wife a lot because I talk about sister wives so much. So really, I just want to be the fifth wife. I want to be the fifth wife that's the favorite wife, and then I want to like spoil Cody's man perm and spoil his ego. Is that fair? Can I be the fifth wife that makes everyone even wilder and worse? Yes, I want to be the fifth wife. If you could create a course for high school and college, what would it be? How to be a YouTuber in 5 minutes. Do you follow the beauty community? I adore Rich Lux and Nick Snyder. I actually really don't follow Nick or Rich. I do follow some of the creators, but not tons. I have watched a few of the James Charles stuff, and I've been paying attention to some of the Raw Beauty Christie stuff, but honestly, I haven't spent a whole lot of time. And then there's always like Nikita's stuff, and I don't even know. What would be your dream job if you weren't a YouTube influencer? Oh, I didn't realize I was an influencer. Cool. Does that mean I can get some sponsorships now? Okay, which Duggar would you want to have a drink with? Amy. I feel like this question comes up so much, you guys. I would totally want to have a drink with Amy, like every day. If you could change one thing in the world, what would it be? I would literally abolish like all forms of isms. I would get rid of racism and ableism and sexism and all of the isms. All of those things that divide people and make people like angry and fight. I would get rid of all of those things so that nobody had anything to fight, anything at all. Hey, I always miss your lives. Well, hi, Bree. I haven't seen you in a minute. I miss your face. If you could change your first name, what would it be? I don't know. I've never had the opportunity to even think about that. But maybe I would pick, I think I'd pick like Yolanda or something. Okay. Because I really love, like, I was a Spanish major and that was my Spanish name. Hey, from the Netherlands, I know that your son has a drain in his head and my son had that too because he had spina bifida. Oh, Santa, thank you so much for your super chat. Yes, we do have a shunt in this house. What is my vision for my hairstyle since you're growing it out? This is actually a really valid question right now. I want to just say thank you guys for putting up with me in this in-between phase. It's been a really emotional few months as I've been growing my hair out. I'm not kidding. No, I am kidding. It's just been, I'm normally like more finicky, and right now my hair is just an utter mess. And sometimes it's really embarrassing to go on camera because my hair is in this awful in-between stage. And honestly, I just want my hair back to like a long bob. That's it. And I want it all one length. And I want all these layers out, and I just want it healthy again. So if we can get to that, I would be amazed. And thank you guys for actually like caring about my hair. Can I do the splits? No, you guys, I've never been able to do the splits. Here's a story about me that you didn't know you needed to know about me. I was born with dislocated hips. I was born with dislocated hips, and I was born with 2 feet that were with basically like a clubbed foot. So when I was little, I had to wear casts on my hips in order for them to be put back together. And I also had to wear braces when I was a little baby. So like I had to learn to walk in, like, you know, like Forrest Gump, he had those little like braces. Yeah, that's what I have photos of for me when I was a baby. So I've never had very good flexibility in my hips because of that. And my dream as a kid was to always be able to do the splits, and I just can't. I have zero flexibility through my hips, and that's probably my biggest failure in life, to be honest. Okay, would you put Jill back on the show if you could? I would give Jill her own show. Thank you for that question, Brie. This is fun, Katie. I know. I love this. This is so much fun. Okay, what's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given and the best piece or the wisest? The worst piece of advice I was ever given was honestly in high school when I got pulled out into a hallway and these girls basically told me that I needed to stop being so opinionated because the boys didn't like it. And I told them to F off because, listen, I'm a bad bitch and I have a lot of opinions and I will never, ever be put into a corner, and you will never tell me not to like have an opinion. So no, that's bad advice. Don't tell a girl to not have an opinion. Don't make a girl feel like if she has opinions that she's being bossy or rude, or that. Don't call a girl that has an opinion strong-willed or strong-minded or opinionated. Just don't call a girl that has opinions anything more than a person. Because aren't we supposed to have opinions? And then the best piece of advice I would probably ever say is you can count your friends on one hand. Because that's so true. I would totally watch a Jill life show. Me too, Brie. What food do I hate? I absolutely hate custard. Does anyone else hate custard? Ugh. I had to spend time in Spain, you guys, and when I was in Spain, the dessert there is flan, and they would always try to make me eat flan, and I was like, it feels really slimy down my throat, and it makes me gag, and every kind of custard literally makes my throat feel like I'm going to throw up, and so I always felt so bad because I would have to like pretend I ate the flan, but I'd really just have to like put it on the floor or into a napkin because I didn't want to be rude. Okay, hold on, I need to sip. Okay, you don't like custard either, Melanie? Have I ever burnt a dinner? Yes. Jill says flan is horrible. Flan is tickly in your throat. Now, if you are from Spain and you love flan, or if you're from Mexico and you love flan, I get it. It's like your national, it's like your dish, right? But flan makes my throat tickle. Now you're in the mood for pudding. Nancy hates yogurt, but not custard. Bree wants to know, what would you tell Michelle Duggar or Mary Brown if you had 5 minutes with Michelle? I would tell Michelle Duggar to really, like, honestly, I would tell her that you are holding your daughters back by telling them that their sole purpose in life is to be an incubator for babies and that they need to be joyfully available for their wives. I would tell Michelle Duggar that by telling her children that they need to be joyfully available, she's promoting marital RAPE, and I'm not down with that, and it's destructive and it's not okay, and her girls deserve better than that. They deserve education, they deserve to have opportunities. And if I talk to Mary Brown, I would tell her to stop being so mean to people on her Facebook lives. And then I would also tell her that Cody hates her guts and she should just leave because nobody in the family likes her. And she'd probably be like less mean on her lives with LuLaRoe if she would just leave Cody, because you know that she hates everyone because she hates Cody. Whew. Okay. Michelle, thank you for the super chat. This is fun. Okay, can you open an OnlyFans? Oh my gosh, no. I am so private and I am so, first off, if you guys have an OnlyFans, I just want to give you massive props for putting it all out there and for like just being out there and like sharing yourself with the world. It takes bravery, it takes tenacity, and it takes a lot of guts. And I am proud of all of you guys that do that. I, for one, am old. These things have nursed to pancakes. So really nobody wants to see this without a top on. It's pretty scary. Even I don't. I usually am just like, because there's nothing left after you nurse for 4 years. Okay. Do you have a tattoo? And if so, what they are? I don't have any tattoos. I have a hard time making a decision about tattoos because I have a hard time making a commitment. My husband has like 2 tattoos, I think, maybe 3. I can't remember. He just got his first tattoo not very long ago. I have none because I can't decide. Okay. I forgot to put on my message to my question. I wanted to ask, if you don't mind to answer, why does my son have a drain? All the best to you. My son was actually born with hydrocephalus. So that is why he has a drain. He has communicating or something. I don't even know. Okay. What is your most embarrassing fashion trend you used to rock? Oh my gosh, you guys. Do you remember like hypercolor shirts and like multiples? And like, do you remember the jeans where we like wanted them to be skinny jeans, but they didn't make skinny jeans back then? So we just like, we did this roll where we would like roll them up and we would like fold over the roll, and then we would roll them up and then we would have them really tight. And sometimes we would wear pins. Yeah, that is something we should never do ever again. What's the most spontaneous thing you've done or experienced? I used to be super spontaneous, and I would just like go on trips for like no purpose, or I would just like move and like, date people without thinking about it. One time I met this guy online, and I literally hung out with him for like 10 days, and then I moved in with him. That was probably the most spontaneous thing and stupidest thing I've ever done. Don't ever do that. And if you do, just, if it doesn't work out, don't be surprised. Okay. I hope you guys are paying attention for the best questions. They're coming in so fast and furious. Okay. So far, my favorite question is the one about the elephant trunk. Okay. You loved hypercolor shirts. Do you have any phobias or pet peeves? I am not really afraid of much. I really don't like heights. And pet peeves are, I really don't like people that take super long to check you out at a store. Like, I really get annoyed when I'm at a checkout and it takes the person like 37 minutes, especially at Walmart, when you're like checking out and they're literally like, and they put one thing in the bag and then they do that again, and it takes them like 4 hours to get all of your stuff in a bag, and you were like, seriously? And then the whole time they're talking to you and asking you questions, and it's like, could you not spend 14 hours putting everything out? Because I used to be a cashier, and part of the thing about being a cashier is you're supposed to be really fast because it's not supposed to be like a worse experience for people to check out. But I feel like every time I go to Walmart specifically, I always end up with the person that literally needs to spend 37 minutes checking me out. Okay. Have I ever broken the law? I got a DUI when I was 24. And 23. Yeah, that was like my biggest mistake, and I'm so glad that I didn't hurt anyone. What quote or saying do people spout but is complete BS? Oh my gosh. God only gives special kids to special people or something like that. Or people with only, like, you only get something about, like, special children, special needs children only get parents that can handle it or something. And I'm always like, that is such crap. Like, that's not fair. Like, anyone can handle anything. Margie is the fastest cashier ever. Well, I want to be in your checkout, Margie, because every time I go to Walmart, there's not fast cashiers. All right. If I had to marry one, who would you marry? Jim Bob Duggar or David Easton? Neither. I would stay single and celibate forever. Whose NDA would you tear up first and why? Amy or Jill? Jill does not have an NDA. So Amy's, duh. What would I do and choose? Seeing into the future or reading people's minds? I would love to be able to read people's minds. I would love that ability because sometimes I'm terrible at guessing if somebody is actually being nice to me or not. So I would love to have the ability of someone that if there's being super phony, and I would love to hear their inner dialogue when they're actually talking to me. And I'd want to know if they were like being like, yeah, bitch, I hate you. Like, I would want to hear that. So then I would know not to waste my time because sometimes I'm just too nice to people and that's not a good trait to have sometimes. Okay, can you play any instruments? What's your favorite one to hear? I actually grew up and I learned how to play the piano, but I wasn't very good. And I played the saxophone, but I totally faked it. So I just didn't really do anything. I'm a terrible musician. My husband plays guitar and like everything, but I don't play anything. You have $200 today to spend on fun. What are you going to do? I'm going to give it to you guys as a gift. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Which Peanuts character do you relate to? Peppermint Patty. I feel like she's my friend. I feel like I too would also be playing. Lucy. Lucy. I would be who's the one that always put the football down and like took it away from Charlie Brown? Was that Lucy? I feel like that was Lucy. I would be Lucy. I would be the one that would be like taking the ball and like making Charlie fall down. I'm so glad I caught this live, sending you some extra super chats to make up for last time. Oh. If you could know the absolute and the total truth to one question, what question would you ask? Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Where's Amelia Earhart? Do you guys want to know where Amelia Earhart is? I want to know where Amelia Earhart is. She just like vanished. I want to know where Amelia is. She's like the missing person that we've never found. That's what I want to know. I want to know where Amelia Earhart is. That woman was a pioneer for feminism, for women. That woman was badass. No, you don't have to do questions to get super chats. I'm just not seeing all the questions because the chat, again, is moving very fast. So that is definitely not the truth. Super chat for sure helps me get to the thing. But what's your prized possession? My son. Does that count as anything? Is that like a prized possession? Like, I'm not really a materialistic kind of person. Obviously, I don't buy a lot of clothes, which you guys are always like, could you buy more clothes? You're always wearing the same shirts. I'm just not a material person. I don't have a lot of clothes. I don't have a lot of like, I drive a 10-year-old car. Like, we could afford a new car, and I'm just so cheap that I would never buy a car. Well, not I'm so cheap, but it's just like, I don't like having a car payment because we never drive because I work from home. So why would I want to spend a ton of money on a big car that I'm never going to drive when I already have a car that's 10 years old that only has like 60,000 miles on it, right? And I don't have to pay for it. It's free. Oh no, I hope she wasn't eaten by monkeys, Ruin. Oh. What was my favorite cartoon as a kid? Oh my gosh. I had a few. I loved the Smurfs. Oh my gosh, I loved the Smurfs, but why was there only one Smurf girl? Like, why was Smurfette the only girl? And how did they have all these babies when there was only one girl in the entire community? Like, who was baby Smurf's mom? And how did they have more Smurfs when Smurfette was literally never pregnant? These were the questions nobody ever told me about. If I... Oh, I hope you guys are keeping track. I gotta get a pen. I don't want to forget this. I gotta get a pen. Hold on. Uh-oh, hold on. Of course, I cannot find a pen right now. Do I have to use like makeup or something? I cannot find a pen. How is it that I can't find a pen? I want to keep track of these questions. So far, my favorite question was about would I be a elephant trunk or a giraffe neck? Gem or Barbie? I liked Barbie, but Gem was kind of badass. I need a pen. I found a pen! Yay! I found a pen! Okay. Okay, what is something that you love the most about Minnesota and one thing that you hate the most? Okay, first off, Minnesota is freaking amazing. If you guys think that we're like backwards or like it's super cold all the time and we're just a bunch of like yahoos that just like make goulash and like say, oh yeah, you betcha, that's definitely not Minnesota. What I love about Minnesota is that the Twin Cities is super progressive and there's a ton of like amazing art and culture here. But I love the northern part of Minnesota, and I absolutely love the lakes. What do I hate about Minnesota? I absolutely hate how some people are super closed-minded here and how there's not a lot of diversity in a lot of the places, which leads to a lot of really racist people. And if anyone says that Minnesota nice is like not a thing, they're lying, except I would call it more like Minnesota passive aggressive, and we're more like, we'll be super nice to your face, but we'll totally talk about you behind your back. I would be thinner than Sob and Robin, says Amy. Okay. Okay, the question about the elephant trunk, who asked that? Who asked the elephant trunk question? All right. What is your best procrastination advice? I really don't have any because I'm not a procrastinator. Okay. Why does everyone hate me? Bulldogs run. Russ, XXX. I don't know. Why do they hate me? You should watch their videos and then report back to me and let me know because I'm not sure. Okay, that's honest. I really don't know. I don't watch the videos. Hey, why was that deleted? Jesse, don't delete that. That was a serious question. Okay, sorry. If you were not able to do YouTube, what would you be doing? Nothing. Okay, did you finish cleaning out your basement? And can I bid on anything you're giving away? Jean, I did finish out cleaning out my basement and everything was donated, actually. If you were a Duggar, how would you cause chaos within the organization? I mean family. Oh my God, Smitten Kitten, that was an amazing question. Okay, Smitten Kitten, I would for sure 100% like wear tank tops and really short shorts and I would smoke cigarettes even though I don't smoke anymore, and I would completely take shots of vodka in the kitchen. And then I would also probably like make out with my husband right in front of them. And then I would also probably like say a lot of curse words. And then I would like talk about how I'm an atheist. And then they would probably like lose their minds. Oh my gosh, this is an amazing question. If your 5-year-old self suddenly found themselves inhabiting your current body, what would your 5-year-old self do first? Try to do the splits? Seriously. I feel like... Try to do the splits. Would I rather have all the problematic YouTubers gone from the platform or have them all around to talk about? You know, I don't think that anyone should be deplatformed, despite what people always say about me. I think that unless the only reason that somebody should be truly deplatformed is if they are doing criminal activity. Otherwise, if somebody is just, you don't like them, or you think they're a scam artist, or you don't like their parenting, I don't feel like that's enough reason for me to deplatform someone. And I don't particularly enjoy talking about a ton of YouTubers. And I mean, unless something serious happens or I want to be like goofy. So no, I mean, again, unless they're committing crimes and stuff, like really bad things, I don't really think like anyone should actually use their platforms. What would I add? Okay, I really like this question. What advice would you, Jill asks, what advice would you give your child self? I would tell my little Katie that it is okay to not be perfect, and that you don't have to spend all of your time trying to please people. And no matter what, you are never going to please everyone, but don't ever because you are smart and have an opinion, ever feel like you are too much for someone or are too hard for people. That was always the thing people would say to me, is you're just so much to handle. You know, because I had ADHD and I wasn't medicated and nobody took care of it as a kid for me. So people always said like, oh, you're just so much, you know? And it's like, I really wish I could go back and like tell little Katie, like, she's not so much. She's actually just like, her brain is wired differently. She has a hard time sitting still, and that's not something that should be to make her feel bad. Bree Greer says, if you were a drink, what drink would you be? I would be a pina colada or a margarita, and I would drink it with Margarita Beth. If you had to choose, would you give up your eyesight or your hearing? I would give up my eyesight, I think. I don't think I could go without hearing. I like the not having the ability to communicate with my mouth or my ears, or like to like visual, like, you know, that would be really hard for me. I feel like it would be maybe easier. I don't know. It's not easier to be either though. If you had one wish that could change your future, what would you wish? I don't really know. Was I a mama's girl or a daddy's girl? I don't know. It depended on the day. Neither. Sometimes both. What song would you sing at karaoke? Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. Doesn't everyone want to sing that song? I mean, come on. Sweet Caroline gets everyone happy at karaoke. It's like, it's legitimately the best karaoke song. And if you don't think that, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you, Michelle, for your super chat. If you were able to infiltrate the Duggars, what would you do, and why or why not? Didn't I just answer that? If I could infiltrate the Duggars, I would teach the girls what they could do with their lives is to not be an incubator for babies. Okay. 3 people, alive or dead, that you wish you could hang out with for a day. Frida Kahlo. Can I hang out with her for like, can she be all 3 people? Frida Kahlo. You know what? Since we don't know where Amelia Earhart is, can we also hang out with Amelia Earhart? And then I would absolutely like love to hang out with who did I say? Amelia Earhart and Frida Kahlo and Martin Luther King Jr. If you had a dolphin, what would you name it? Wasn't there a show where there was a dolphin? That dolphin had a cute name. But I feel like my dolphin's name would be Dolly. What is the most useless talent I have? The most useless talent I have is, I don't even know. I can't do the splits. Like, that's a talent for some people. I can't see all the questions, so I'm sorry if you can't, like, this chat is moving extremely fast. If you are getting frustrated, I am sorry. I'm not trying to ignore. Flipper! Yes! Flipper. Dolly Flipper. What would I like to grow in a garden if there's anything I could? If there was a plant that could heal my son, I would grow that plant. If you could eat only one thing for the rest of your life, what would I pick? Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What time in history would you want to be a part of if you had a chance? Sarah Brown, I love this question, so I'm going to write this one down. I would love to have been a part of the women's suffrage movement. Because can we talk about all the amazing women in our past that pioneered the world so that you and I could have the right to vote, to be considered equal to our male counterparts? I would have loved to have met Harriet Tubman and Susan B. Anthony and marched with these women in, you know, in their protests. That would have been the most amazing thing. Like, the women's suffrage movement to me is like one of the coolest parts of history. What's my go-to nail polish color? I don't wear nail polish. If you had to forever have a baby voice or forever have a horse in on every photo you take, what? If you ever had to have a baby voice or forever have a horse in on every photo you take. If you could clarify that question, that would be great because it sounds interesting. And we still have so much further to go, Ivy. But we cannot forget what those women have done for us, and I am like so amazed by them. What happened to my thumb? Oh, I don't know. Probably a hangnail. If you could eradicate one bad thing in the world, what would it be? I already said the isms. Some of these questions are all the same. I already answered that question. I would get rid of all the isms. Have you ever gone skydiving, and what's the craziest thing okay, I've never gone skydiving because I don't like heights. And the craziest thing I've ever done is I moved in with a guy after knowing him for 10 days. Someone broke into your mom's car. I'm sorry, Katie. Would you rather live a week in the past or the future? I would rather stay in the present. How much does the average YouTuber make a month? I have no idea. You could ask Social Blade that. If you had to spend $10,000 today, what would you spend it on? I would honestly, there's so many messages I got today from people that are like struggling financially with these giveaways. And I would like love, it would be amazing if I had $10,000 to give to somebody else. I don't feel like I need any money. Like that's the, like, I feel like this job is like really blessing my family and we don't need that. If I had $10,000, I would love to help some of the people that are struggling right now. And I got so many messages from so many people struggling. I would love to give that back. Do you mind if my followers disagree with me? No, I don't. I think it would be weird if you agreed with me all the time. Do I feel like Oswald JFK a loner at all? I don't know. Would I want to know my death date? No. That would give me way too much anxiety. Don't ever tell me the day I'm going to die. If I had to describe myself as a kitchen appliance, which would you choose to describe you and why? This is an amazing question. I feel like I would be a food processor because they're like, they blend everything and they're like tornadoes. And I feel like I am a tornado in my life. Like I can just like go and get things done super fast. Like I am the kind of person when I get going on something, I will like literally pulverize something and get rid of everything and I will throw away everything. And I also can go like 37 miles an hour. So I would totally be a food processor. Plus they are so practical and they make everything easier. You can do everything with a food processor and everyone loves food processors. Like who doesn't like a food processor? It's like the favorite appliance. Either that or it would be a large mixing bowl because I like to blend things up. If I could choose to remain any age forever, what age would you choose? I really liked 40 and I can't be 40 anymore. And now I'm 41 and I'm almost 42. BB's Cool Vintage. I know you already I already answered a question about my hair. So I've seen that question twice. If you rewind, you'll actually see that question again. Who's the bigger hoarder, me or Todd? Abby, this one is a good question. Because it's not me. Let's just say that I'm not the hoarder in this house. Let's just say if things need to get thrown out around here, it's not Todd that's throwing it out. You know what I'm saying? I love my husband, but he is terrible at throwing things away. I am the opposite of a hoarder. So I am the kind of person that throws things away and then I'm like, crap, do we still have that thing? What is invisible but you wish people could see? I wish people could see individuals with disabilities. Can I just be honest? I feel like a lot of people with disabilities are completely invisible. I feel like families of children that have disabilities are invisible. I feel like I am an invisible person to the world. I feel like most days, most people don't give a flying crap about people with disabilities or kids with disabilities. And I really hate that. I hate that kids with disabilities and people with disabilities are forgotten about and nobody cares about, kind of like nobody cares about the elderly. That's a really good question because that made me say that. Okay. Oh my God, this is, the zombie apocalypse team is coming. What 3 people do you pick for your survival team? Okay, First of all, I would pick anyone from Naked and Afraid. If they won that show, they would totally be on my team. But I don't know anyone that's actually been on that show. I would also probably pick somebody that won Survivor because I feel like they could actually do some stuff. And then I would need someone that's really good at strategy along with like problem solving. And I would probably pick my husband because he can fix anything and he can pretty much like destroy anything as well. So that's who I would pick. Do you have a YouTube play button when you hit 100K? And if so, can we see it? Oh, my trolls love to ask this question. Like, Katie, why don't you have your play button yet? Well, actually, you guys, I'm getting my play button. I actually just got the invitation for my play button today. People think I get upset when they ask me that question, and it doesn't bother me. I literally had a copyright strike on my channel, and I knew I wouldn't be able to get a play button until my copyright strike was gone, which was gone this week. And as soon as it was gone, they sent me a message and said, you're eligible for your play button now. So I'm getting it in 3 weeks. So you guys can all calm down and not be so upset about my play button because it really doesn't irritate me. I always wanted to be on The Real World, Lindsay. That was the reality show I would have wanted to be on. What is something that most people like but you just don't get at all? Big Brother. I don't get Big Brother, okay? Desiree Brick, how do you get a play button? You have to hit 100,000 subscribers and then your channel has to be free of any sort of copyright or community guideline strikes. And right before I hit 100,000 subscribers, Jeffree Paschal from 90 Day Fiancé copyright struck my channel. Even though the video was not him, it was a video of his girlfriend, Mary, but he made the decision to strike my channel. And when I reached out to them to try to resolve it, they refused to remove the copyright strike. I offered to compensate them. Like, I was like, this isn't honest. Like, you don't even own this. Like, what are you doing? And so you have to have no strikes. And you also have to be in good standing. You have to not have... your content can't have any, like, you have to be a good partner. You can't have, like, offensive language. Like, they have to review all of your content as well. What unusual thing do I find attractive in someone? I really like hands. Is that unusual? Like, I love a guy that has big hands. Because you guys, this is weird, but I have really big hands. And yes, I have a hangnail. So you guys can all speculate. You can go down to the subreddit, you guys, and talk about how I have a Band-Aid on my finger and how I'm going to get an infection. And it's because I never wash my hands and I'm super dirty. But I have really long fingers. And so it's a humongous thing for me to find somebody that has bigger hands than me. Bob says, not a question, just wanted to say that I've never been more genuinely invested in a YouTuber before you, not just because you choose great topics, but because you're so real. Oh, Bob, thank you. That's awesome. Thank you for that super chat. I just love big hands because I have long fingers. They're really big hands I'm only 5'3" and my hands are huge for my size. If you launched a color palette, what would I call it? Better than Jeffree Star. That's what I would call it. You know what they say about man with big hands? They wear big gloves. Could I see myself as a TV host? Maybe. I used to practice getting like awards in the toilet when I was little. I would be on the bathroom toilet accepting awards for like stuff. Grammys, acting. You would buy the palette as long as it was called not Jeffree Star or better than Jeffree Star or Jeffree Star's Corpse or like Jeffree Star's like Parasites. Oh, that's a great one. Sarah says, I'd have to say of most of the chats, your fans are some of the most supportive of everyone, and I love that you are thanking people for their super chats. Well, Sarah, we try to foster a very healthy dialogue here, and we always try to be respectful, and we always are grateful when anyone decides to do a super chat. And Debbie, thank you so much for becoming a super fan. We absolutely appreciate every single one of you that's here, whether you are a paid member or a subscriber, and we always try to be respectful of everyone. If you could wife swap with any of the Duggars, who would you trade lives with for a week? I would trade with Joy because I want to know if Austin's abusive. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to know, like, what's going on behind the scenes. Because I get these weird, creepy vibes from Austin, and I would just want to know what he's like. What accent do you love the most? Southern? If you were a captain of a pirate ship, what would the name of your ship be? Oh my gosh. The Queen's Voyage? No. That sounds like oh, my boat would be called Nasty Woman. Yeah. Nasty Woman, and we would all wear wigs like Hillary Clinton. How did you choose your YouTube name? Oh, I've answered this question so many times. But anyways, my son was born with a rare condition, and my son's doctors always say to us, you live without a crystal ball. So we live without a crystal ball. If you could be a historical character from history, who would you be and what would you do differently? I would be Amelia Earhart, and I would not fly and disappear. Grace, free Amelia. Free Amelia. Do you like my pirate ship, Nasty Woman? I like that name too. Wow, Madison really wants me to answer this question. What is one thing I've gotten in trouble for that you thought was justified and one thing that was unjust? Well, half the things I'm accused of on YouTube that I've gotten involved in, like, I think are ridiculous. One thing that I've gotten in trouble for that was justified was my DUI, 100%. What is the first law that you make when you are elected president? I would make it impossible for someone to run for president without releasing their tax returns. Just saying. You have to show your tax returns before you can actually become a president. You can't run without showing your tax returns. If you can't show your tax returns and you can't prove you paid your taxes, you don't get to run for president. Because everyone has to pay their taxes. Who mods my subreddit? I don't have, that subreddit has nothing to do with me. So the subreddits that exist that are related to me are not run by me. They're actually not affiliated with me. They are using my name, my likeness, without my permission. That subreddit is filled with former members of this channel who legit hate me. Yeah, I'm not involved in it. They started that subreddit. Would I run for president? No, because I did too many drugs in my 20s. And I feel like when you run for president, all the drugs that you did in your 20s always become an issue. And then I would have to be like, they would be like asking me a question and they'd be like, well, Katie, did you do that 8-ball? And I'd be like, yeah. I mean, didn't everyone when they were 24 or 22 or whatever? I could never be the president. I have too many, like, I was too naughty when I was in my 20s. Oh my God, Ivy Rose, this question is so winning. Ivy Rose says, if you're going to an award show and everyone will see you, would you rather wear Michelle Duggars' hair or Jill Rod's makeup? Ivy, I feel like this isn't really a question because you all know that I would be loving the green eyeliner because you can never have enough green eyeliner. That was an amazing question. You're in the running. Okay, what is the biggest lie that you've heard about myself? Okay. One of the perpetual lies that I hear about myself is that I'm a liar. Does that even make sense? Like, a lot of people always say that I'm a liar. And I'm always like, you don't know me if you think I'm a liar. Like, I'm the opposite of a liar. But I get it. I get where people are coming from because people are always like, oh, YouTubers are liars. But literally, if you knew me, you would know that I can't lie. Like, I'm the worst liar in the whole world. I can't tell a lie to save my life. Ask my husband how I can tell a lie. I can't. I'm like the worst liar ever. I'm the person that will tell you to your face what you don't want to hear before I would ever lie. And I will always admit when I do something wrong, but then I always like try to defend myself. So then people say that I'm always the victim, but I'm not always the victim. I just sometimes feel like, oh my God, like really, if you had to hear some of the stuff that you hear on a daily basis and it's all just fabricated, it's hard not to defend yourself. So I just have stopped defending myself. But the I'm a liar part, I'm like, they clearly don't know who I am because I'm a terrible liar. But if it wasn't that, then it would also be that we sacrifice animals and we're devil worshippers, which we're definitely not. If I wrote a book, what would the title be? Nasty Woman by Katie Paulson. Nasty. You're so nasty. If I had to have a pig or a donkey in the house as your pet, what would you pick? I would totally pick pigs. Did you know pigs are like so smart? Who asked that question? Banana Hammock? Oh my God, I always love your name. I don't need a donkey because I feel like donkeys eat everything. And I already have one of those. It's called Frida. What's the weirdest thing you've seen in someone else's home? I don't really know. I can't remember the last time I was in someone's house because of COVID. Is that bad? I honestly can't remember. I would only say something about someone that I would say to their face. Exactly. I'm the exact same way, Cam. So I always assume that when I say something about someone on this channel, that like they will see it and I'm going to say it to their face. What subjects do I refuse to cover? So I really don't like to cover anything related to like people that are overweight. I get a lot of requests for me to cover like Amber Lynn Reed, I think that's her name, or like anything related to anyone that has any sort of eating disorder. I really don't like to cover that because I feel like, no, I don't want to shame anyone for that. Like, I understand how hard it is. And I don't want anything that I'd ever do to like make someone feel worse about how they're feeling. So that's always been like sort of like one thing, like drawn in the sand. I did cover Eugenia Cooney, but more so because like sometimes she has some problematic behavior or sometimes she's not being truthful, but I would never want to shame her for what she's going through. And that's another topic I will not cover anymore on this channel. How have my faults hindered me from my success? Okay, I have a story for you about this. This is a really good question. I'm way too open. I'm too open and I am too trusting. And I used to talk to every single person that DM'd me. And I would just talk to them. And I had no idea that the people that were messaging me were sometimes trolls that were trying to get things from me or that were going to take screenshots of what I said. I really underestimated that people even cared about me. And as my channel grew, I started to realize that like people would try to like get involved in things and then they would try to like pin me into corners, and I just talked to the wrong people. And so I would just like, that's one thing that's for sure been my biggest downfall, is talking to too many people, which is like why I don't really like respond to a lot of DMs anymore. Amy says, thank you for not coming eating disorders. Very good. If I were a superhero, who would I be? She-Ra. Do I know more about strangers' children than my own? No. Do you think that I know less about my son than you? I was too kind, says Maria. If you had to pick between your dogs to put in a dog show, which one would win? Obviously this one. I mean, right? Look at how she's laying. Robin, you've had too many chances on this channel. I'm done. All right. Who was my favorite celebrity crush? First celebrity crush. Oh. Michael Jackson when I was like 5. Who would you rather get shut down, the subreddit or the terrible Twitter people? Neither. The Facebook group. But it won't. It never happens. Anyways. If I had to have a slumber party with Tati or Jeffree Star, who would it be? I feel like Jeffree would be at least more entertaining than Tati. I feel like Tati's probably super boring. Does anyone else get the feeling like Tati behind the scenes is like the most vanilla person you've ever met, that probably doesn't do anything very exciting and probably just like when she's not online is like sitting staring at a wall? That's how I imagine Tati. At least with Jeffree, you know that there would be shenanigans. I mean, and aren't you supposed to get into shenanigans when you're at a slumber party? Right? I've had super long hair. Yeah, Jeffree, I feel like, would also talk for sure. But he would also probably get me to say some bad words and put me on video saying it, you know? The company is coming over quick. What's one thing you do around the house? I totally take everything off the counters. I hate cluttered counters when you go over to someone's house. It's like my pet peeve. Do you have more female or male friends? In college, I had a lot more male friends. I've always had a lot more guy friends, but now that I'm married, I don't have as many guy friends because where I live is really conservative and like very churchy. And I'm not trying to be like rude about this, but it's like a lot of the guys around here are very like men and women shouldn't be friends kind of thing. It's weird. So I don't have a lot of guy friends, but I usually like I have more guy friends than girlfriends. I've never had Popeyes. KFC or Popeyes. I've never had Popeyes, so I can't even answer that question. What would I do if I only had one day left to live? I would go to Thailand. What would the world be like if it was filled with male and female copies of you? Oh my God. People would be like, it would be organized. It would be a workaholic and it would never shut up. What is one room in your house that you always have to keep clean? My kitchen or my bathrooms. What is my best piece of relationship advice? Okay, first off, like relationships are not easy. And also like when you're in a relationship for a very long time, please do not feel like intimacy has to be like, if you go through periods without intimacy, do not feel like somehow your relationship is a failure. We put so much stress on ourselves as a society that we have to be doing things constantly or being like romantic with our partner. And I feel like it's unnatural and it's unhealthy. And I feel like we should be okay with being like, hey, we're going through a season, we're going through a time. It's totally fine. You know what I mean? I also feel like relationships take a lot of work. So you get what you put in. I don't eat McDonald's. Carol wants to know what my favorite item at McDonald's is, and I haven't had McDonald's in probably 10 years. What's my best excuse for being late? I have a child with autism. I just answered your question, Carol. I don't eat at McDonald's. Carol, could you please stop spamming that question? If I found out my current, oh my God, is that like the Truman Show? No, I would never want to wake up. Ever. No. I would never want to wake up. Am I a serious person? You seem highly driven. I'm actually not. I'm a very driven person, but I'm actually kind of a goofball. You can ask my husband that. We're very goofy in this house. You needed to hear that my husband forgot and went to work. I don't know what you mean, but yes, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Our relationship is very like balanced. Todd is like really good at fixing things, and I'm really good at directing him at fixing things. Did I personally know George Floyd? No, but Todd's Okay, so Todd, my husband Todd's friend, Nina. No, not Nina. Nicole? No. Todd, which one was it? Nina or Nicole? One of them. I think it was Nicole. My Todd's friend Nicole was good friends with his fiance, and she said he was a nice guy. What are your thoughts on once a cheater, always a cheater? It's true. We actually don't have game nights ever, Jen. So we're super boring. What subject you covered caused you the most hate? Amber Portwood. I boss Todd. I'm like always like, Todd, can you clean the kitchen today? Todd, can you do this today? Todd, can you do that today? In fairness, you guys, he's like laid off right now. So he's like my house husband. And I feel like he's the pool boy. So I'm always like, Todd, go do this, you know, like, you know, whatever. What's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning? Usually, this is true. I hear my son. This is what I wake up to every morning. Mommy, it is not 6:30 yet, but when it comes to 6:30, I'm getting up. Okay. And then, oh, it's 6:30. And then he runs down the stairs and then he yells for daddy. And then I proceed to get my toes chewed on by kittens for like 10 minutes. A pool boy with a dad bod. So funny. What year is the toughest year of marriage? Our toughest year, and I don't think it corresponds to anything, it was the year that my husband's mother died. That was a horrible year. Grief is really hard, and people, when they're grieving, do really ridiculous things, and you have to support them, and they sometimes act out of character, and they can become absent, or they can become different people. And we were dealing with his grief while our son was going through a lot of health challenges. So it definitely made things really hard because I felt like I was trying to hold him together and my son together and myself together. And there was definitely a period of time where I thought we were going to get divorced. I'm glad we didn't, though. Oh my goodness. Do I like sushi? I love sushi. It's like my favorite. What is something that's important to me that I rarely talk about? Probably disability advocacy and like families of children with disabilities and children with disabilities. Like, I would love to talk about that more, but I just don't because I respect my son's privacy. But I would love to talk about like just how families are completely forgotten about and nobody gives a flying F about, and like literally you're not invited to anything ever, and people only care about us if they want to use photos of our kids to sell products or to raise money for their charities. Otherwise, our kids don't matter. I would love to talk about that kind of stuff more, but I don't want to talk about that stuff because I want to respect my son's privacy. What is my favorite charity? Honestly, our favorite charity is actually my son's hospitals. Oh my God, Ivy Rose, this question. Ivy's had some good questions. On a reasonable day, how many pigeons could I carry? I feel like 4. I feel like 4 would be a reasonable number of pigeons. That was like an amazing question. That along with who asked the question about the elephant snout or the giraffe neck? Because that's still my favorite question so much. If there was a fire and you could save one possession, what would it save? I would save my animals. How do I feel about the a-holes who accuse you of neglecting your son for YouTube? I don't pay it too much mind because I feel like those same people criticize any woman that has a job. And if you are a career mom, you just can't win. Because if you're working, and this is my job, so like during the day, I literally am like in an office doing research, filming, editing. Like people think that this job is a lot more glamorous than it is, and it's really not glamorous at all. Honestly, most of my day is literally like editing images, thumbnails, like emailing. It's not that glamorous, and it's work. So I would just say, like, do you tell any other mother that isn't with their child during the day that they're neglecting their child? What do you think people could do to better support parents of children with disabilities? Honest question. I feel like people need to stop forgetting who we are. I feel like people need to be more empathetic to our plights. I feel like people need to stop looking at our children as problem kids. See, when you have a child with autism, people don't like you because your child screams and they yell, and you're accused of contributing to your child's bad behavior, and people say that your child is a bad kid, and your child can't be in large groups because they get overstimulated. And so then people stop inviting you and they don't want you around, or they don't want to hear about the sadness that you have. And so sometimes I just wish that people would just get over their uncomfortableness of being around someone that isn't perfect and doesn't fit into their perfect bubble. And I also wish that parents were so much better at talking to their children about kids with disabilities instead of making them afraid of them. Brooke didn't get her surgery for her. When you have days where you are unfortunately had to deal with trolls and haters, once the cameras are off, what do you do to clear your mind and allow yourself to be unbothered? Usually like we watch Parks and Rec. I work out. I will play with my son. I will play with my animals. I will sit outside on my like deck. I check in with friends. Sometimes I just check in with other friends that are influencers and just like vent to them because they understand. I think sometimes you have to have other people that are in this world to confide in and share your, what you're going through. Oh, Jean would invite me to her house. I love that. What is something that we wouldn't believe about you? I can't do the splits. Roxy says, I don't know how you juggle everything and do it so good. Okay, first off, can I just say something? My husband lost his job. He was laid off due to the pandemic. And it was honestly like super scary. It was honestly super scary for our family because I was afraid of losing health insurance. But it's literally been the best thing for our family because this job is so demanding, and he is the most amazing like house husband ever. And he's also going to be utilizing this time to start to get his Etsy business. And we're going to just like put our energy into being the creative people that we are instead of the people that were like stuck in corporate America. And we're just going to try to be like self-employed and like enjoying life this way instead of being stuck in the cycle of being in jobs that we hate. And I feel like life has been so much better this way for both of us. Do you have regrets of connecting with any other YouTubers over your time on YouTube? No, I feel like I've learned a lot. I know I've got to give up the splits. Does my husband like being called a house husband? I don't know. Todd, you're in chat. Answer. Does my husband have a brother? He has so many brothers, but they're all taken and they're all older. So Sherelle's World or H3. Jesse, you don't have to delete that. Like, oh, my battery. Sorry, this has been a really long live stream. Hold on. Let me change it. And calling him a house husband is more just like a joke. All right, everything's back. When people make hate videos about you, do you just see it as free publicity? I don't watch most of them. I don't watch really any of them. So I do kind of just think like, well, it's funny because there's a couple creators that make a lot of videos about me. And recently, it's been hilarious because I've had people be like, oh, I found you because this one person keeps talking about you and they made you sound terrible and I love your content. So I'm so glad that they were dragging you because you're not that person at all. And I was like, oh, you're so great. So I've kind of learned that I can't control what people think. People are allowed to have an opinion about me just the same way I'm allowed to have opinions about other people. And not everyone's going to believe what these people say. And if people want to rally together and hate on me, it's like they're still bringing views to my channel. I'm such a workaholic because my family depends on my channel. So it's not just because, you know, people say you're neglecting your son. Well, literally, this job is affording our house, and it's affording our life, and it's saving for our future. If I could have a song play every time you came into a room, what would it be? Born This Way. I feel like it's literally the best song in the whole world. I'm beautiful in the way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. It's like my favorite song. I know. Okay. People need to chill. Kids do better with moms who don't coddle. Promotes independence. Okay. So, all right. So here's the thing. I don't know who asked the question about the elephant, and I don't know if they're still here. So I didn't write that person's name down. So currently, I feel like the 3 winners for the questions are, and here are what I've got. Put in 806. Her question of what is invisible that I wish people could see is a top 3. Ivy Rose's question about whether I would want to be having Michelle Duggars' hair or J. Rod's makeup is the second best question. And Michelle's question... Oh, and Michelle Borjo's question about an elephant snout or an elephant trunk or a giraffe. Okay? So... Okay, so what we're gonna do here is you know what? Putting Ivy Rose and Michelle Bohort and Jill Arthur, all 4 of you win. Ivy Rose, Michelle Borjo, Jill Arthur, and Pudding 806. Each one of you win, and I'm just going to be super generous, $100. So you guys win. I'm doing 4 winners because I had such a good time tonight, and I want to give back to you. So... we are going to do, love you guys. You know, and it's funny because I feel like Ivy Rose can be very, okay, I want to tell you a secret. Ivy Rose can be very critical of me. So if anyone wonders if I don't like criticism, Ivy Rose can be very critical of me. And I don't care because she's always respectful. And so, and she will always engage, and she was always engages in this community respectfully, but she can also criticize me and I don't mind it. So just so you know, like there are people in this community that can tell me how they feel and I don't hate them. And Ivy knows that. She'll probably attest to that. So yes, Ivy, Jill Arthur, Michelle, and Pudding 806. Yeah, Ivy just doesn't cling. That is so true. Ivy's been like straight with me many times, and I'm like, whatever. Constructive criticism is okay. Bunny can do the same thing to me. Pudding 806 has actually done the same thing. This was a fun live, just like such a good okay. So ladies, what I need you guys to do is I need you guys to email me. At withoutacrystalball78@gmail.com. So Pudding, Jill, Michelle, and Ivy, please email me. And then I need to even Gabriel. I need Oh, Michelle, I'm so glad. I know you still love me, Puddin'. So please, all four of you, please email me, and then I either need to have whatever your Venmo account is or your PayPal, and I will send you the $100 cash that way. It's fun to do giveaways. I have such a blast doing this. So make sure, yes, Without a Crystal Ball 78. I'll put it right now. This was totally a contest. I was going to do one winner, but there were so many good questions. Yes, I will do this again, for sure. I love to give back, and I just, I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of messages the last few days of people that are just struggling financially, and I was like, damn, I need to do something for them. So that's why I wanted to do tonight. All right, you guys. Let's thank you guys all so much for participating. This was a blast. It was a contest, 100%. Yes. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please be safe. Please be kind to each other. It's okay to be snarky. It's okay to have an opinion. And never, ever send anyone nasty death threats or nasty messages. Never don't make fun of people's faces. Don't call people, don't say you have a crooked chin or you're super ugly or you're dumb, you know. Just be nice to people. Thanks for joining me.